A historic cruise to Cuba has come to an end. The Adonia, the ship that set sail for Cuba for the first time in decades, returned to Port Miami this morning. Local 2 News reporter Sanela Sabovic was there to greet the passengers.
Most passengers that we spoke with today say that not only were they proud of being a part of history in the making, they also mentioned that it's an experience they will never forget, especially when they reached Havana. Passengers with bags in tow arrived back to Miami this morning from a week-long historic Cuban cruise.
It was beyond comprehension just how spectacular and unique this was.
About 700 passengers spent a week at sea on Carnival ship Adonia and docked at 3 Cuban ports in Havana, Cienfuegos, and Santiago de Cuba. Passengers we spoke with say being a part of history was certainly overwhelming, and a major highlight for most was the warm reception they received once they disembarked in Havana.
Initially getting off in Havana and being greeted by swarms of people that were cheering for us, that the U.S. finally made it to Havana.
Shaking our hands, kissing us, it was insane. Especially for me as a Cuban, it was an incredible homecoming.
Welcome back.
Celia Mena was born in Cuba and left as a child. Going back home, as she calls it, was an emotional experience.
And that feeling of being welcomed and being welcomed by my own people was wonderful. I'll never forget it.
Along with taking in all the sights and sounds of Cuba, most passengers came back with some mementos from a trip nearly half a century in the making.
7-year-old Havana Club, and in the suitcase are the cajibos.
And not only did this voyage touch Americans, it spoke volumes for the Cubans that greeted them.
When we asked our guide what this trip meant to the Cuban people, he said it meant hope.
And the Adonia will go for a second cruise back to Cuba next Sunday. Reporting from Port Miami, Sanela Sabovic, Local 10 News.